Hey, good morning. Good morning. 6:33 a.m. in Chicago. Friday, guys. Friday. All right. So, just I want to look at the S&P 500. Um, Chat about that a little bit and where we're at right now with this market's continuing to grind up here. All right. So, and what do we look for in the broadening formations, and how do they set up, and going back into history tells us a lot. All right, it does tell us a lot. Um, so I want to go back to because we've had just an amazing move to the upside on markets, and here we are, right? And it kind of started. I'd say 2021, right after coming out of COVID, we had a little bit of a dip that came in after there, but I mean, since 23, 24, 25, there has been very little bit for pullbacks coming back inside. All right, so I want to look at back here to 1994. Okay, 1994. I was on the Chicago Stock Exchange at that time, and look at the move that we had here from 94 all the way up until 2000. Okay, so now, when I look at this move, measured move to the upside, there was a pullback here, okay? But the markets, for the most part, were pretty strong, all right? Even with this coming back inside here, which is not too much at all, all right? So, nice move to the upside, and again, and what happened there, right? So, 2000. In 2001 is when we got the trigger with the pullback. Okay, we had made this move. So I'm looking at this, right? I see the 2-1 inside here, didn't trigger anything there. Okay, and then you get the 3 with the 2 higher, and then the 3 again, and it looks like it was the 3-2 that sort of triggered this move back to the downside. All right, so going forward, what did we have here? We had like a little bit of a double top here. We didn't necessarily get as high as that, but it was the move that broke down, that rallied, that broke. Okay, so and we'll see that theme again and again. All right, so that was the spike up that we're looking at right here in 2000, and then that was a pretty darn good pullback from '01 all the way back down to the lows here, which brought us back to 2002, October of '02, somewhere around in here, where we reversed, and what I want to say is that embrace when you're chopping. Okay, when there's this chopping going on, eventually it's going to move out. And I'm talking about that for even if you're trading on a stock on any given day, or when you're in that chop mode, price is really being popping around all over the place. All right, so embrace that choppiness, that because you're going to come out of this. All right, now time is something that we have nothing over control over. That's for sure. All right. But I just say, when you get this choppy stuff, typically there's going to be a move that comes out of this. This one was a 3-2-2 back up. Okay. So again, very, very good move. Very liking to where we are right now. All right, and we talk about the late '90s, and all the IPOs that came out during that time. It was a great time for the markets. So this is a measured move, and when I look back now, I'm going to go up in the future here, and you see the move. But look at the theme that shows important. Okay, so here we get kind of a sort of a double top here, and then you get. And then you got the break to the move down, and then you chop, you got out, okay? Made the double top, high top again, okay? They're not necessarily lined up perfectly by any stretch, but what happened was the pullback, okay, and choppy chop that got back up here, all right, created something for us to break again, all right? So we came all the way back down again, and now we're going back to 2000. Now we hit the 2007, 2008 with the housing breakdown, and that was a very big move to the downside, okay? 2008. I remember the S&P 500. I remember coming into work into the exchange, and the S&P 500 was locked down, and we were not even opening. All right, so we had to wait 15 minutes before the market could even open. And the minute it opened, they just came back. These sellers just was not. It was the most brutal thing. All right, so but what's the ones that we see? We see a double top again. Okay, and now we're going back in more in time. So we started to recover from that out of 2010. It got better, and then we got this move that came in here, and then we turned into this chop area again, where this is chop, and then things get out again. Okay, so and now we look and see where we are now. Okay, so we're still sitting here around $250 on the S&P 500, 252 in this area here. There was a lot of chopping going on in there. All right, so we got a double top again, and we broke again. Okay, so I'm not going to take too much time in this. When we look at this move, okay, so this was a good move. We triangled out here a bit, right? But we have not, other than 1 month that took a dip and came back. All right, sellers were in control on this month for sure, but they came back and they finished this thing. It's just, buyers got in control here, and things changed. Okay, so now here we are on this move. Now I look forward, because that's what we do. All right, so we'll look to see what's going to happen here. Now we're in the stratosphere, okay? But there's good reason for it, right? Earnings have been hitting their numbers, and it's just like, here's where we are. So I'm looking at it now, but the only way that we're going to be able to get some kind of change, because it's very hard. David Tepper was on yesterday morning, and one of the things he said is he's like, I'm not happy about holding these stocks right here, but I'm not selling them. But it's like I'm not buying stocks either. Okay, so I think that most people, and again, I think managed monies and people like that are in the market, that are the buy side, the sell side, they see this, and I don't know. If they're necessarily buying a lot of stocks up in this area here in the S&P 500. All right, so I think the bigger thing is what we need to do is, and I'm gonna tell you this. I have a matrix number that I think is where we're gonna find some exhaustion risk on the SPX. All right, so when I can pull that up and look at the SPX here, and you see where we are in the cash right now, 66.56. Okay, so these are numbers that I'm gonna say right now, and I'm saying that I think we go anywhere above 66.85. All right, 66.85 coming up into this range in here, which we are not far off of. All right, and then my number would go as high as 67.35. So I'm putting these numbers out there, and I'm saying that there's a possibility that we find some real exhaustion risk, not the kind of exhaustion risk that we deal with daily, but something like real. All right, and we call that a matrix number. So we'll look to see if we can get up into this 67.35 area. Again, 66.85 through 67.35. That's my thoughts on where I think the SPY and the SPX is going here. And then what we can do is we can get that move, to spike down, whatever it might be, 4%, 6%. There's got to be some kind of pullback here, all right? And there's a ton of money that's sitting on the sidelines, over $7 trillion, that's still not even in the market. So you gotta weigh that too, right? So there's so much money that's not even involved in the market right now. So it's very, very, but we see buyers stepping in all the time, just looking at that April month. All right, so some kind of pullback, and then what we would look for is something where we break and then we get up and we look for that double top again. Okay, so again, we got 3 months left here. We got we're going to finish this quarter here at the end of this month, and then we've got October, which can be a rocky month. Okay, most of the big crashes, and I'm not saying crashes, but it's a difficult month. Okay, it's definitely a difficult month. All right, so I would like to see something that breaks down, like I showed you earlier on those double tops. Something that comes down, whatever it might be, and I don't know what those percentages are going to be, but then we look for that double top again, and then we might get some sign of change that could be a little bit more meaningful to the downside. All right, and I'm going against the grain here. There's just like I said, there's so much money that's still sitting on the outside of the market. This has just been an immense move with very little triangle out, and you see it. All right, so we look for this move that comes back down wherever it might be. I think that I'm going to watch these numbers, 66.85 to 67.35. There might be a pullback on that, and then we get some kind of move there, and then we make that move back up to that high again, and then we got a double top. And what did I show you? When I showed you those double tops, you see what happens when you get those, and there you go. Okay? So you get that nice move up. All right, you break, you come back up, and then you see move. All right, so again, it's going against the grain here. All right, but most people that I know that are trading stocks, they're kind of laying off up here. And when David Tepper says that he's not buying stocks up here, then you should probably listen to him. All right, but anyhow, that's all I wanted to say. I'm gonna come back with a video with you guys later around 7:30, 7:35, and then we'll go through what's cooking for today. All right, and today's been market's kind of coming in a little quiet here right now. We're very close. We're just slightly higher here on the SPY, and we're slightly higher on the Qs here. But we're poised to looks like we're going to want to go a little bit higher here. And so keep your eye out for that number. Write that number down, 66.85, anywhere up to 67.35. And then if you pull up on the NASDAQ, I don't have really numbers on diamonds, but here I'm saying somewhere in the neighborhood of 25,000. 700, about 25.7 is look what I'm looking for on NASDAQ coming back up. All right, so that would come back up through here, and I'm saying anywhere between 25,000 to 25.7. I think that's going to be some exhaustion risk up in that area too. All right, up and as we see here, up 21 bucks this morning. All right, so. So this is what I just wanted to make a point about the S&P 500, most importantly, and watch that SPX as we move closer towards those numbers, and we'll see if something changes there. All right, and then we'll look for that move that might pull back something for us to. For us to be able to want to get back into stocks right now, because there's no reason to get out of any of your positions. I'm going to say that for sure. But I'm saying once you get up here, I'll be protecting my trades. I'm in stocks. I'm holding them, but I'm going to be protecting everything up here. All right. I will talk to you around 7:35, 7:40, and we'll see what this day's going to get looking like. All right. So I'll let you be now. All right. So be good. Be good.